Ghana's railway network was constructed over a century ago during the British colonial era. It comprises 3 lines: Western, Eastern and Central lines. These were all narrow-gauge, single-track lines. The former British colony, then called Gold Coast, was a land abundant in natural resources such as gold, diamonds, bauxite, manganese, timber, cocoa, amongst others. The British desired to export these natural resources from their country, and they knew a good railway system would make this possible. Talks about Ghana's railway therefore began in 1870, but it would be more than 2 decades later before plans were put into action. Construction of the railway network commenced in Sekondi in 1898 and reached the gold hubs of Tarkwa and Obuasi in 1901 and 1902 respectively, before finally reaching Kumasi in 1903. According to the Ghana Railway Company Limited, the first train left Sekondi for Kumasi on 1st October 1903. The railway system undoubtedly had a great impact on Ghana's economy, facilitating the transport of natural resources from resources-producing areas in the country to the port cities of Sekondi, Takoradi, and Tema. From here, natural resources such as bauxite, manganese, timber, and cocoa were exported. With time, Ghana became the world's largest exporter of cocoa, and about 80% of the cocoa beans exported from the country were transported via the railways. Overall, by the 1950s and 1960s, 2 million tons of freight were transported via railway annually. Apart from transport of freight, the railway network also served as a means of transportation for commuters. By the 1950s and 1960s, railway transportation had become the most preferred means of transportation in Ghana, with a total of 8 million passengers annually. Given all these, it is not surprising that in the 1950s, Ghana's railway system became recognized as one of the greatest railway systems in Africa. Sadly, just after 3 decades, Ghana's railway system had begun to decline due to lack of maintenance. By the 2010s, Ghana's railway system had virtually collapsed, transporting barely 500,000 tons of freight. The absence of a robust railway system took a toll on Ghana's transport system and economy as a whole. Urban centers struggled with excessive traffic as commuters had to primarily rely on the road transport system. Time and energy were lost in transporting freight and commuters, and jobs were lost. It was apparent Ghana was in dire need of a robust railway system. In 2004, the Kufuor administration embarked on rehabilitation works on the Accra-Tema railway line. This was financed by $5 million from the government, a $5 million loan from the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, $2.58 million from the Heavily Indebted Poor Countries Fund, and $500,000 in matching funds. Rehabilitation works on the Accra-Asoprochona railway line was completed in 2007. In the same year, passenger services were reintroduced in the country as the government acquired 2 new diesel passenger trains at the cost of $23 million to run the Accra-Tema railway lines. 3 years after that, rehabilitation works on the Asoprochona-Tema harbour railway line was completed and extended into Tema Community 1 in 2012. In 2013, the Mahama-led government released the Railway Master Plan developed by a team of engineers. This master plan envisioned the construction of 4,008 kilometers of railway lines over the next 33 years, starting from 2015 at an estimated cost of $21.50 billion. The Ghana Railway Development Authority was to undertake this development in partnership with the private sector and the various financing models. When Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo took over the reins of power in 2017, his government decoupled the Ministry of Railways Development from the Ministry of Transport in order to give the Railway Ministry the much-needed attention. Lamenting about the sorry state of Ghana's railway industry, President Akufo-Addo promised that his government would revamp the railway sector. So far, rehabilitation works have been completed on the 56-kilometer Takoradi-Tarkwa railway line the 51-kilometer Kojokrom-Nsuta railway line, the 56-kilometer Kojokrom-Tarkwa railway line, and the 40-kilometer Accra-Nsawam railway line. In addition, 10 passenger coaches have undergone refurbishment to ensure the comfort of commuters. Apart from the rehabilitation works, some new projects are also underway. These include the Ghana-Burkina Railway Interconnectivity Project. In 2017, the governments of Ghana and Burkina Faso agreed to construct a 1,000-kilometer railway line to connect Ghana's Tema port and Burkina Faso's capital, Ouagadougou. Government has reviewed and validated the pre-feasibility study report submitted by the transaction advisors. The Tema-Mpakadan Railway Project. This involves the construction of a 97.6-kilometer railway line between Tema and Mpakadan in order to improve connectivity between the Tema port and the northern parts of Ghana. The project forms part of the first phase of the 1,000-kilometer Ghana-Burkina Faso Railway Interconnectivity Project. The Tema-Mpakadan Railway Project, originally called the Tema-Akosombo Railway Project, was proposed in 2007, but construction began in July 2018. After a review, which resulted in a change of the project scope, it is expected to be completed by December 2022. The Manso-Huni Valley Railway Project. This includes the construction of a 70-kilometer single-track railway line from Manso to Huni Valley and the construction of a new 8-kilometer standard-gauge railway line from the Takoradi port to the Takoradi station. It also involves the conversion of 10.6 kilometers dual-gauge tracks between Takoradi and Kojokrom from narrow gauge to standard gauge. This project, which is estimated at 500 million euros, is expected to be completed in 3.5 years. So, this is the current state of Ghana's railway sector. What is in store for its future? In 2018, the government of Ghana signed a Memorandum of Understanding with South African company Africa Investment Skytrain Consortium to construct the Accra Skytrain at a cost of $3 billion. This is a planned, fully automated, elevated light railway metro network for Ghana's capital city, Accra. The proposed network will have 5 routes, 4 of which are radial routes that originate at a new terminal at the Kwame Nkrumah interchange, and another route that loops around the city center. The total track length across all routes is 194 kilometers. Feasibility study was then carried out in 2019. Even though the government of Ghana has already paid $2 million to Africa Investment Skytrain Consortium, the project has not commenced because, according to reports, the firm has not received an operational license to begin work. Also in 2021, the government outlined plans for 3 railway expansion projects at the cost of $12.9 billion. The first project involves development of a light rail transit network consisting of 7 corridors in the Ashanti region's capital, Kumasi. This will be done at the cost of $5.8 billion. This project, which is expected to start in 2025, is currently at the feasibility stage. Likewise, the Central Spine project, which involves the construction of a 672-kilometer railway line running from the center of Kumasi to Paga, near the border with Burkina Faso, will be undertaken. The railway line, which will be constructed at the cost of $3.3 billion, is expected to commence in 2023 and will be opened in 2029. The Trans-Ecowas railway line is a 550-kilometer east-west mixed traffic line which will run from Aflao on the Togo border to Elubo on the Ivory Coast border with a branch line to Keita. It is expected to start in 2022 and complete in 2025 at the cost of $3.8 billion. If all goes as planned, Ghana's railway system will once again become one of the best in Africa.